professionalism, and much more. So this is according to me, what I've heard about the first initiative linked with community currency standards, with impact assessment. Most of the complementary currency focus on economic capital, social capital, and subjective well-being of these complementary currency projects. Now, what comes through this impact assessment, which I try to review. Sustainable development is linked with a lot of different fields. Okay, when you deal with green economy, you can see that family sustainability is linked with a lot of different stuff, intangible, tangible, and all what is linked with shaping the economy, like new natural resource management. This is what we are talking about in this conference, economic and monetary innovation. And if you think about sustainable management also, it's linked with need satisfaction, with welfare promotion, and also with finance sparing frugality, like finance reformation. So it's linked with social, environmental, economic issue, as you know, but also much more, because it's linked also with sculpture, with conscience, energy, and information. And impact assessment should integrate those fields too. Basically, the methodology of monitoring and evaluation of impact assessment is based on a plan, do, on a PDCA, plan, do, check, act, will. This is what you can see on this picture, which comes from the reference material of the UNDP. And this is what you can find also on this picture, which comes from another standards based on climate, biodiversity, and community. So it's planning, monitoring, evaluating the programs, the impact. And I think something is missing, and that's maybe interesting to integrate. It is, we spoke about young and yin, and I think this is very young, and maybe we can integrate some new step, like the step linked with dream, vision, imagination, and another step linked with celebration, which help us to reconnect to this imagination part. Concerning the assessment tools, there's a lot. And each field, each sector have its own, developed its own, and I think economic and monetary innovation should take the inspiration and take the information that already exists in this field and adapt it to its field by creating new indicators linked with other areas. If you focus on impact assessment, on impact finance area, there's also a lot of different approach. So impact finance is investment or credit or donation, and then you really assess the impact is, okay, we finance this project, but for which purpose? If you go on Foundation Center of the TRASI, you will find all of those tools. And as you can see, few of them are based on assessment, like impact assessment. Few of them are based on quantitative indicators. And on impact finance, there's a lot of system was based on management and rating, and most of them actually are based on assessment. In the complementary currency field, an initiative has been made to propose some indicators. On this, it's especially for time banks, but there's very interesting idea and proposition for indicators. Complementary currency projects. They need conventional money. 74% of the financing come from conventional money. Through private donation, external financial or external money tax. And this is what is important. Because either through a bottom-up approach or a top-down approach, complementary currency projects like development projects need time, need competencies, need commitment, and need people together to work on these projects. So they need energy, and this energy can come from money. So impact reporting could look like that. So monitoring and evaluation part, then you go to the design and implementation of the impact assessment. Then you can prove the impact, and finally you get the fund. Because this is what they need and what we need. The young economy, they need information, they need measurement, they need rationality, and they need analysis. This is how they will give the money to the yin economy. And the yin economy, what they need is energy, transdisciplinarity in order to work together. So the proposition is to create impact assessment, impact reporting, to be a go-between between the donors and the project leaders. The donors give the money to the project leaders, and the project leaders create impact story and impact assessment. And an impact analysis, impact report analysis structure can be between these two in order to help the project leaders to create the impact assessment that the donors need, and also to help the project leaders to create the impact assessment they need for themselves in order to improve the project. There's already some standards for this kind of report, which come from the Global Reporting Initiative. And for the proposition of the balanced scorecard of impact indicators, we should start with the objectives of complementary currencies. Each project has its own objective. I won't go through, but there's a lot of different ones. And this is what it's all about. We spoke about a vision, okay, which is here. Then we have a strategy for the project, and then we create the impact assessment, the specific indicators in order to reach them. And here you can find the proposition I made based on different topics: economic, social, environmental issue. And I think in these indicators, we may also integrate some tools and assessment linked with intangible things, cultural things, and also vision and personal development. Because this is what it's all about the yin and the yang, how to reach the equilibrium. Thank you very much.
do the impossible by squeezing something so comprehensive into such limited time. We will go just a little bit, but we still will be at the time. So, let's open the questions, and let's hear what everybody has to ask. Any questions? Oh yeah, there's one right there. Just a minute, please. If you could just grab the microphone, because we're being webcast, you see, otherwise they can't hear you. Questions?
Mr. Lindell, yes. You're a professor, I understand?
Yeah.
In which field? Yeah, no, that's one part of the question. And you're working on complementary currencies in what we in Holland call a net system. It's a mutual currency. And in my research I found that to be really successful, you also have to be able to pay taxes with a currency, because then people want to have it. And maybe you could also include rent, which is also a part which might make it successful. You catch my drift? In your in the implementations that use your system, has anybody tried to? Was there a municipality or another body which used it to pay taxes? Have you already tried that?
Thank you. Can I?
Go.
Cheers. Yeah, I'm an adjunct professor of management with a business school in Australia, and a distinguished visiting professor at IE Business School in Madrid, and soon to become a full professor of sustainability leadership. But so previously part-time, and now I'm going full-time, but that's also because I found a university that was prepared to allow me to work in this area and develop a research program and teaching around this topic, which also I think shows how this topic is evolving sufficiently now to be more recognised as something that's important to develop research and teaching and training on. Because previously most people just laughed at this area or thought it was a bit strange. And it's good to hear that you've got a research program on it. So your specific question about tax. The problem is that with these 130 schemes, we don't know enough about each of them. We don't have anyone doing an evaluation at all, really, let alone in a sophisticated way that we just heard Christoph suggest that we do it. So I don't know. I don't know of any instances of our currencies where, say, a local authority has said that they would like to charge tax on those transactions in the mutual credit unit, rather than, say, a euro equivalent. And I'm totally against tax being charged on mutual credit systems on using the national money equivalent, because that exerts a downward pressure on their uptake. Rather, it's not that I don't believe in tax. I think these things would be fine to be taxed, but in the unit of exchange, which would mean that actually a government, or local government, national government, would need to become a participant in the scheme.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. I mean, not to tax the currency with national currency or international currency like the euro, but instead use your new currency to pay tax with.
If I might answer this, and I'll put on my hat of having worked for the Vice President of the European Commission for many years, it's just not legal. That's the point.
That's exactly what it is.
That's currently, tax has to be paid. That's what fiat currency means. You have to pay taxes on it. That's why we had an animated discussion about that last night. You can't even pay taxes with your credit card because it's not legal tender.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm
So
I know of an example in Bristol where there's an agreement with the local government to accept tax in the local Bristol pound. I don't want your friends to come down tough on them, but that'll be an interesting fight, and they will decide happily on it. But in France, so most of our schemes are in France, and the law in France, as I'm aware of it, is that if this is not your primary profession, then your participation participation in Time Out and in other mutual